Okay, some people be they holla say them want the power. Them be promise us say we go get light and power. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over Naira. See them talk say make we off mind, but thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you ladder. Oh, yo yo, my ego don't come. Oh yo yo, my people make we shout. Oh yo yo, my ego don't come. Oh yo yo, my ego don't come, man of the masses. Oh yo yo, my ego don't come. Oh yo yo, my ego diary politico. Oh yo yo, my ego don't come. Oh yo yo, this one not they off in mind. Oh yo yo, my ego don't come. Oh yo yo, person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Poor man picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo, my people make you shout. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary.
Hello there.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun diary.
Mayegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ara yìí.
Mayegun diary.
Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
Mayegun diary.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí.
Mayegun diary.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í.
Thank you very much. I have fixed that. Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. It is Mayegun Live.
Mayegun diary politico.
Mayegun diary.
Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun.
Mayegun diary.
Thank you so much for joining me from wherever you are joining from. Remember, share this broadcast. Invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them that Mayegun today again.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun today.
Do you even know why you are watching Mayegun right now?
Àní
I've always been watching Mayegun.
lórí Facebook.
Mayegun today.
It is called the need to know basis. That's the first step. What you don't know, is what you don't know. It's probably even like bigger than you. But the moment you do know, you are bigger than what you do know. And what you know becomes powerful, especially if you know that what you know has been part of what has been mitigating against you as a Nigerian. So what do you do about what you know is now going to be left to you.
Ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o.
Stress ni.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Òkúra olóṣèlú.
Miyetti have assembled successfully their first army. Edira o.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé.
Mo ti dé. So good morning to you once again, and good afternoon to you, as well as a good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. It is Mayegun Live. And thank you so much for joining me, as well as paying your own offering, which is like the broadcast before you are soaked in the conversation. First thing first, right? To those of you who usually see politics as a game, it is not. It is life and death decision-making process. And it is so obvious that Nigerians have been making bad choices, especially now that we realize that the criminals who are destroying Nigeria, they do have enablers. So why are you watching Mayegun? You are watching Mayegun because if you are not directly affected by what is going on in Nigeria, that does not spare you from the consequences of what is going on in Nigeria. You know, you need to feel it. You don't really have to be there physically. But when you are there as well and you are feigning ignorance, it's mostly because, one, people don't know. And because they don't know, they can't act. There are so many factors working against you, knowing and understanding the danger that these criminals represent being in charge of Nigeria. So when you now understand the danger and you realize that bad government is like a stray bullet. Stray bullet is a bullet that misses and is eventually going to hit something. And it could hit you. Their most popular vuvuzela. That's exactly why you are watching Mayegun's Diary Politico. I don't care where you belong. But on Mayegun's Diary Politico, everyone will understand the consequences that you carry depends on where you belong. At the end of the day, now all of us be waiting victims. But the earlier a lot of us understands the danger we are in, Mayegun's Diary Politico is to help you understand and possibly stop them. We have to stop them. You see these characters, right from the local government level to your federal government level, right? It is like an organized crime, like organized criminals whose only goal and mission is to keep you where you are now. If you are not one of them watching me, by the way. So what does Mayegun do? Mayegun wants you to understand that. Even if you are supporting and defending rubbish, you at least need to understand the consequences of your action. They might want you to point fingers left, right, and center, right? But when it is you, just you, with all of the available information in your possession, you will never lie to yourself. And that is why you are watching Mayegun. So you might belong, like I said, I don't care where you belong. You are going to tell me where you belong. This is what I've been doing for years. And how would I know where you belong? Or how would you know where you belong? It is how you react to what Mayegun says. And those Mayegun exposes, those Mayegun want you to know deeper than what the media is telling you, and the role they are playing in whatever circumstance or whatever thing you are going through right now as a Nigerian, in or outside Nigeria. So when you understand what they represent, you will begin to put a break on believing them. Then you will begin to mobilize on how to stop them. So you don't have to like me, okay? It doesn't really help anybody. Just like when somebody says that, every time they just criticize, why don't you see anything good in this criminal government? It's because you hate them. It's because of this or that. And I am like, Listen, if I don't like them, it's because of who they are that I have discovered, and you need to know. You need to know too. But if me not liking them, you think it's bad for Nigeria. What about you loving them and ready to defend them, even with your empty stomachs? I'm not talking about your empty brains now, okay? That's another thing. Even with your empty stomachs, what about your love? How many electricity has your love for these criminals generated? How many roads, bridges, schools, medical centers have your love generated? Absolute zero. Feelings don't run a country. Do you understand? People will tell you and say, listen, follow what I say. Like do what I say, not what I do. So at the end of the day, it's going to end up in one place. And that is why the header of this broadcast is that of the new $1.5 billion loan that these criminals are asking for. So I kind of want to keep your mind afresh, even if they have belabored your mind with all kinds of happenings. The ruined and destroyed economy of Nigeria was not an accident. The destroyed and ruined security apparatus in Nigeria is also not by mistake. It was all orchestrated to be that way, and that is why corruption became legalized by the rogues that you pay to keep you safe and improve your economy. Before these rogues came in, Bokwari was borrowing money. He had no means of paying back. They were negotiating for different kinds of loans, only to end up not completing one single project that they borrowed all the money for across Nigeria, except the eastern part of Nigeria, by the way, just for the record. They were giving them conditions to devalue the Naira. They didn't give a damn. They were taking all the money from everywhere. Don't worry, we'll devalue it. They were not in any way doing anything to improve the same production in Nigeria. Nigeria was bleeding. Businesses were leaving. Jobs were being lost. Poverty, what have you? The poverty basket was being overfilled. They didn't care. As they were running around tripping of foreign forex, they were also doing their racket of crude oil stealing at the highest never seen rate. At the end of the day, Nigeria Naira lost over 1,000% of its value. I mean, how do you describe this? Well, maybe not 1,000. Over 500% of its value under these rogues. They didn't stop there. They started printing money. Inflation shifted from inflation to hyperinflation until they started doctoring the figure as if that would kind of solve the problem. Nigeria became the poverty capital of the world, right? As well as the unemployed and the unemployment capital of the world, the unemployed people's capital of the world, under these rogues, all because they were borrowing money. They were completely looted, mismanaged, because they didn't give a damn. 27 trillion naira was printed. Naira. Nobody is asking them where is that money today. Do you know how much is 27 trillion? In the value when Bokwari was there, that's over $50 billion. Over 50 billion. Add everything together. They were still doctoring the figure. They said the debt of Nigeria today is 87 trillion naira. That's a lie. You are over 150 trillion naira in debt. And that is why, under Bokwari, they were using over 98% of Nigeria's revenue. Where would they see money? They borrowed all this money and they said they were constructing rail. They were constructing this, right? that will never be completed. Now, to pay back the loan on all of that, the citizens are jobless. The economy is what? The Naira is valueless. At the end of the day, when they finally get all the money together, the money could only service the loan, not to pay back. Nigeria, the giant of Africa, I be the G-ant of Africa. Smaller G, by the way. G-ant. Revenue of the whole country could only service our debts, and they continue borrowing. Because they were telling themselves, right, that Nigeria could pay. As they were doing all of that, as the Naira continued to lose its value, the economy lost it. Hardship skyrocketed. As if that's not enough, Tifnumbu and gang, they took over. Grab it, snatch it, grab it, run with it. Now, monkey don't hijack a cow. To drive the car be the problem. They are now using the same concept of they are put Emefiole. Maybe they are trying Emefiole now because Emefiole did so many deals with Naira. At the end of the day, it was a back-end deal to pay themselves in the name of backing the Naira. Abi, it's part of what they are accusing Emefiole for. Emefiole is currently on bail, but they are doing the same thing. You don't know, or you are not paying attention, but I will explain that to you. Subsidy is gone. That was the breaking news, I remember. May 29, 2023. Kolu. And everybody started, yeah, that's a very big decision, a very good decision. That's we need to suffer now so that we can enjoy later. You want to suffer. That's what they want you to be. Then enjoy later. No, that's not part of the deal. When have you ever enjoyed? Ask your parents. Even if you are 30 now, still at home, they feed you. And you serve, they get opinion that you have to suffer. We need to endure. Endure. Or denial. But don't worry. It was the endurance. Fishe mi do name. Endurance. Olorun gbogo. Iyagbe mi, right? The criminals were cooking all this together. Okay? Subsidy is gone. We are going to save money from subsidy. All right. How much money? By the time we will save like 1 trillion every month. That's great. That means we can use that 1 trillion every month to supplement some of all this. Abi? Yes. But that's not true. Subsidy is not gone anywhere. What do you think created the corruption of subsidy? And what do you really think the subsidy is about when they say subsidy? Because it's so popular. And why is it that till tomorrow, except for those that got exposed as oil marketers who were being paid 200 billion, 300 billion a year, and they caused the price increase of 2012 under Egbere Jolantan, remember? Except for that time that they exposed and they started the trial of the oil marketers who have been paid subsidy but diverting the same oil to neighboring country. One of them is governor today. Is the governor of Ogun State, Dubious Dapo, aiding oil. Except for that, nobody knows about any oil marketers again. All you hear about is that under Bukwari, shockingly, Nigeria that was paying subsidy of 250 billion a year, 300 billion a year, 400 billion. When Bukwari, who said subsidy was a scam, when he came in, subsidy became legal and it wasn't a scam anymore, right? And surprisingly, Nigeria started spending 1 trillion a year, 2 trillion, 2.5 trillion, 3 trillion. As at 2022-2023, Nigeria subsidy money was what? 4 trillion naira. these rogues. The saddest thing is that we didn't know who they paid the money for. Nigerians pay more for the products, right? That they subsidized more, all right, for that period as well. Until this day, nobody knows who they were paying the money to. And they needed dollar. They were borrowing money to give their friends. Here you get. So now those ones were like, if subsidy is gone, that's fine. And now Naira is in the gutters. We need to provide the dollars for us, and this is the equivalent of what it's going to be. By the time we put all of this together, a liter of petrol in Nigeria will be 1,250 Naira. That is one of their leaked secret memo. Yes. And because it got leaked, they postponed it. Say, okay, you know what? Since we have already told the people that subsidy is gone, we'll make sure that we subsidize your dollar. Here you get. So where everybody is buying dollar for 1,200, 1,300, for you, we'll give it to you for 150. Is that all right? Is that fair enough? So that you can still keep the price normal. Well, that's fair. So what about the dollars? What happened is that we don't really have dollars in the Central Bank of Nigeria that can cover that kind of payment. But what we are going to do is that NNPC and UBA, they are talking to the Afrexim Bank on our behalf to give us $3.3 billion loan. So once they give us that loan, we intend to give them $12 billion worth of crude oil. So once the deal is okay and sorted, right? Be rest assured that there will be dollars available for you. Okay, wait. And just about a week ago, the news broke that $2 billion from the $3.3 billion promised them by the Afrexim Bank was ready and released to them. They received that. So now, for the next 1 or 2 months, the price of petrol, the price of this and that, they can still remain same because the marketers have been subsidized, their own friends. And guess what? By their record, it is the NNPC that is licensed to bring petroleum products and others to Nigeria. The second person licensed is Dangote. Go and verify. Now, you see, as the scheme was going, and everybody is still feeling like, okay, yeah, it's okay, we can still pay 650 Naira. I just don't want them to increase it. If they try it, that one is the problem. So you can feel like people will remove subsidy are also assuring you that the price won't increase. Does that correlate? I mean, correlate. You remove subsidy and you told people and you said, anything, whatever price you bring your petroleum, anybody can go, everyone can go and bring petroleum and sell in Nigeria. Here you get at whatever your landing cost. We are no longer involved. But behind the scene, you are giving them the dollars you borrowed in the name of the country. Negotiated with $12 billion worth of crude oil. 164 million barrels of crude oil to be given to them if Nigeria refused to pay in 5 years. And these guys have no plan of paying anything. So which means Nigeria will lose 164 million barrels of crude oil. Depends on, at the current price, it is worth $12 billion. So maybe in another 5 years, it's probably going to double that. Depends on the price of crude oil at the time. So that's the deal, only to hand the money to their friends so that the price of petroleum and diesel can remain the same for the next few weeks. Now they are talking to the World Bank for $1.5 billion loan. In their 2024 budget, they said they were going to borrow 10 trillion, nearly about 9.7 trillion Naira. If you put that into the exchange rate, it's going to be somewhere around $9 billion. They already put that in there. What are they going to use the money for? in their budget. The money is to be used for, development, road, schools, this, that, blah, 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 to fund the budget. That's what they wrote in there, right? Also, last month in December, which is last year, their Senate approved $7.8 billion loan request of Tifnumbu to fund the budget. And then another 100 million euros to fund the budget. So these are money that they can go and borrow to fund the budget. But guess what? They want to use $1.5 billion to defend the Naira. Every time they tell you they are defending the Naira, they are giving the money to their friends. Have you ever asked that, wait, Nigeria know they sell crude oil since May. Let's even say we know what happened to the crude oil of Nigeria for 8 years under Bukwari. Abi, where 700,000 barrels of crude oil were being stolen every day. We put all of that figure together and we said, if the whole crude oil stolen under Bukwari is actually sold and the money is given to Nigeria, no intermediary, no nothing, right? Nigeria would have made over $300 billion. Convert that to your Naira. It can fund your budget for the next 5 years without borrowing a kobo. But that is currently in the pockets of all those who said they were working to make Nigeria great. And people like us exposing them are those who are demarketing Nigeria. It got so bad that they discovered, they stole Nigeria crude oil. It ended in China. And it got discovered. So China had to pay. When they put all the money together, it would have been about $2.something billion. Malamun and Bukwari came in. They parried the money. Till tomorrow, the money is gone. China don't pay. Gone. But she Nigeria know they sell crude oil. Have you ever asked yourself, like, one point, they said the crude oil stealing is kind of gone or reduced. So now they are producing about 1.4, 1.5 million barrels a day. We'll do the maths now. Because since these guys came in, it has been borrowing after borrowing after borrowing. And a lot of you are not paying attention. The conditions after borrowing is that if you don't get anything to back it, your currency will have to suffer it. You go out there, you saw your Naira at 1,350 Naira. You are not alarmed. Lives are being ruined. Lives are being lost because of this. And people are just kind of trying to figure it out or getting used to it or calling it the will of God. Like, there's nothing we are going to do about it. Now, what do we? So they're going to make it worse. So if I tell you, if people tell you that, give them time, you will be surprised how they are going to change it, blah, 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 blah. Hey, those who shouted change in 2014 and 2015, you remember them very well. A lot of them are saying, Nigeria has not changed. We supported change. Look at Nigeria. Nothing has changed. Things have gone worse. No. That would be a totally wrong statement. You cannot say nothing has changed, but things have gone terribly worse or things have worsened. That's the change. From change to next devil. Remember, at the end of the day, they are now giving you the renewed hope. That hope still there. Now, they are telling you that your hope will be renewed. Okay? You just need to be patient. But when you look at what they are doing, the consequences of them is that it is going to worsen the situation. And because it is going to worsen the situation, right? You, who is going to be the victim of this at the end of the day, you need to know. Shitty Man is in Davos, Switzerland. I don't know if you have seen the video where they are dancing Buga, Olololo, Buga in Davos last night. Of course. while everybody is so alarmed and shocked what's going on in Ibadan and all of that stuff, the plateau killings and those killings that you have witnessed in Nigeria, these guys went with their Bambi Alabo to Switzerland. Initially, Sheikh Kaushiti man was like, we are not poor. We are the richest continent in the world. We do not blah, 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 blah nonsense. Sha. For those who can interpret, please help my audience. They usually don't understand his accent, but I'll do my best when I come back, by the way. But for those who understand, help those who don't, please. Help your brother.
The multiple taxation. The president had set up a committee to synchronize our taxes and come up with a single line taxation system. So the global community was thrilled. We had a lot of positive interface, positive interactions, and very soon our efforts will start yielding fruits. We are not a poor nation by any standard. We are not a poor continent. We want to deal with people on a pedestal of equality. We do not come to the West with a begging bowl, no. We want to deal with them on mutually beneficial terms because ours is the richest continent in the world. The whole countries of Europe, their resources are not up to the resources in the Democratic Republic of Congo. This is why I said we carry our poverty with dignity. We are not here. Wherever we go to have mutually beneficial relationships with
nuisance lele.
We retun was suit. Did you hear him when he said we carry our poverty with pride? We are not poor continents. We are supposed to be rich. The problem is inequality. Who are those who created the inequality? Sheikh Shetima there, one of them. And it's still pretty much the road to the poverty that everyone, who has become the victim in Nigeria today is caught in. The road started not today, a while back. They are just playing their part to ensure that every generation indeed have their own portion of those who are going to end up in that bracket. So they are borrowing money. So in case if you are watching this video, they are borrowing money to back the Naira. And if you ask them, what do you mean by borrowing money to back Naira? Explain to us. Now there wahala go start, because they will begin to speak big grammar, nonsense grammar, economic jargons to confuse you. Because there's nothing like borrowing money to back Naira. Since they came in from my own tracking, these guys have already borrowed over $7 billion. Where all of you are still there, we don't know how much money they have already printed right now. Do you know that we didn't know that Bokwari was printing money until 2020? We didn't know. They kept the record. They kept it private until when they wanted to lift it and make it look like it's part of Nigeria debt. And they call it a way and means. We don't know what Sifnubu is printing right now. And they don't give a damn about your inflation or hyperinflation. No. I just thought that you should know. Here you get. They are borrowing 1.5 billion to share among themselves. 1.5 billion with the Nigeria exchange rate. That is over 1. What am I even saying? That should be nearly 2 trillion naira. 2 trillion naira. They will share it. So the reason why dollar can skyrocket is because if their friends who they say are oil marketers, the moment they say they need dollar, and they have to go out there to source for it, that is the moment you're going to hear that Nigeria Naira is now 1,800 Naira to the dollar. Every available dollar that gets to the hands of these guys disappears within weeks. And when the money is gone, they started hunting again. But you are waiting because they told you they were going to give you student loan. You actually have no clear understanding of how that is going to be anyway, right? But they said they are working on it. Didn't they? They are working on it. So you are waiting for that. Abi, you are waiting for them to construct and then, equip your hospitals, your schools, pay the staffs and employ enough hands to actually work in these places, Abi. You are waiting for that. But the moment the money comes in, they already have a plan for it. And if they feel like the money they are squeezing from those of you who still have taxes, who still have jobs or anything they can tax, these ones will tax you out of business, by the way. It's not a good news. This is a bad one. And that is why I said, on Mayegun's Diary Politico, the reason why you are watching this video is not because I want you to hate people. I just want you to understand the situation that we are all in. So if you find means of defending any of this, what you are doing to yourself and your own generation unborn must be well understood. You are ruining them and they are going to end up in the poverty created by these criminals that you think probably have something to do to change your situation. They don't. Their plan of fighting poverty is to hand you money. They have no plan of investing, the real investment in your economy, the real investment in your infrastructure. When they do all this, when they say they are building road, it's simply because it is the easiest avenue to steal money at the same time to launder the money. And that is why sometimes we ask ourselves and say, listen, you see everybody where they go to who are like a science student and they later turn out to become civil engineers, construction engineers, and all of that, engineers and all that. And then you have what do you call it? You have the local engineering companies as well, like who says we are engineering companies, contractors and all that. But Baba, you see, have to see the Julius Berger, 63 years after independence, Julius Berger building gutters, CECCC, building bridge, what do you call it? Everyone from all over the world, right? Still coming in, taking the chunk of the real job because Nigeria can't build anything. That is what your government says. That is what Nigeria rulers and the ruiners have said for years. So when they say come and contribute to the blah, 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 blah of your country, most of what they are asking you to is that come and join the league of those who are looting the country. Because you all know, it's the system, right? Is a system that enables the criminality enough that everyone can't wait to take their own turn. So come, let us work together with thieves, career criminals, whose actions are in total contrast to what they say or tell you while you are waiting. They promise to pay you 25,000 naira. That one has created controversy, created Edu Be Better Gate, where billions of naira has gone into the hands of private individuals, into the bank account, private account of private individuals. But the poor people that they wanted to give the money to since May 2023 till now, they are still waiting because they can't sort themselves. They can't have enough. Enough to now say, okay, yeah, we have had enough now. Let's give the poor people the rest. And you can tell that's what it is now. So they tell you something, they're doing something else. Their own idea of lifting people out of poverty is like that of the idea of Agberu in Lagos. Rob Peter to pay Paul. Do you understand? Cash out from your mystery. The mystery they actually orchestrated. And everybody can begin to raise up their hands and begin to raise up their legs and begin to hit the ground at once. You know what I mean? Like the Miyetti ala soldiers. And then they can throw out a word of Naira note and say, yeah, say, that man is so generous. Your money, your communities are lacking adequate, necessary and basic amenities. Your lives have been cut short because of the greed of these criminals who are indeed from different of our own ethnic nationalities across Nigeria. So they tell you something, they're doing something else. Then you are hoping that maybe they will still do what they said they will do. You are waiting. And guess what? To make it worse, it's not as if Nigeria is rich, yo. They have depleted Nigeria so much that these guys have brought terrorism to their own supposed country. I mean, a lot of people have come out to say, listen, look at all these billions being paid to the terrorists as ransoms. But when you see all the terrorists themselves, you can tell the money is not reflecting on on them. Which means the money is going up somewhere that is funding the operation. Who are those somewhere they're doing that? The criminals you call the excellencies and distinguished, the honorables and whatever you call them. Do you get how that kind of, Nigeria is poor. The resources of Nigeria, they brought terrorists on the people, kill the people, chase them away, and begin to illegally mine all those resources. All they care about is what they can take from you. And if you are not seeing it, it's because you have chosen to be numb about it, which is very bad. I used to say, it's okay. Maybe when you become a victim, you probably would then understand the danger that you have been enabling yourself. I don't know where you belong, and I don't care. But I do wish you will care about the consequences of your own enablement. Nigeria is poor. All the avenue where Nigeria could actually make money and such money reinvested in Nigerians. You invest the money in their education, invest in their healthcare, invest in the infrastructure, improve the quality of life, and then you have a rich country. But it is deliberately put this way. Then they have made Nigeria poor. They are now borrowing money to live their luxury lives in the name of Nigeria and Nigerians. And today, whether you don't chop or you never chop, as Nigerian, with the debt of Nigeria, you are already owing the debtors over 460,000 naira. If they begin to share the Nigeria debt, and that is why you are going to continue to buy inhaler 150 for 8,000, 10,000, even 20,000 because of these guys. It's not because anybody hates them. It's not because their enemies don't want them to succeed. They don't want to succeed the way you are thinking. They want to succeed the other way. And they are succeeding because they make you believe that they are doing something to improve your life. But you are looking around and like, how come this is not reflecting? The reason why it is not reflecting is because you are praying for them to be successful in their wish for you and for Nigeria. And if you look back, for those of you who have been praying that prayer, those of you who prayed for a Nigeria that's blah 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 under Bokuwari, that may Bokuwari succeed. May Bokuwari succeed. For 8 years, Bokuwari succeeded, yo. Recharge card sellers from Daura are multi-billionaires today. While a lot of you, you are still owing money for the last week's Gary. Now, you can't even pass your main streets anymore. You have to kind of pass the back streets since you never get the money. Your salary has not been paid. You've already spent it. You are already in debt. I'm getting paid 150,000. You're already in debt of over 300,000. A lot of you are just this little tiny sickness from poverty. And Bokuwari succeeded in printing 27 trillion naira that none of you actually have any clue what they did with it. But you're going to pay. You are going to pay with hyperinflation, worthless naira, epileptic power supply, Because by virtue of what Nigeria is now, Nigeria cannot build anything without borrowing money for it. And the crook who are borrowing, they are still stealing it. You see, saying a double jeopardy be that. So when you pray for them to succeed, you might actually be praying in reverse against yourself. And that is why you are watching Mayegun, to make you understand. Actions have consequences. Elections have consequences. That one is popular. Elections have consequences. Be careful of what you pray for. And today, they've told Nigerians they are borrowing $1.5 billion from the World Bank. World Bank. For those who know better. Poverty is shesheberenu. If you don't stop them when they are done, a lot of you will wish you were never born. As sad as that might sound. Because you see these guys,